What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a great day, great start to the week, and hopefully, you guys had a great weekend behind you guys. Some of you guys might be having a long weekend right now, so enjoy that while it lasts. Back to the grind tomorrow, of course. We do have personal reward CVC starting tomorrow, but in today's video, we are on the test server here. That's why we don't see any personal reward CVC timer happening, and this is going to be a sneak peek at what is coming in 2 days time, because 2 days time we have the brand new fusion, but with that update we are getting a total of 7 champions, the fusion included. So it's going to be fusion plus 6 other champions. So let's jump into it and take a look at these brand new champions. It's always fun to take a deep dive into these guys' kits and see what Plarium is cooking up. So first up, we have from the High Elves joining Galathir, we have this brand new support mythical champion, Sabriel. We'll just call him Sabriel. Anyways, wow. Wow, right? Anyways, yeah, looks amazing, guys. Seems like a bit of a trend that Plarium is getting a little bit more shiny with these weapons that they've been putting out lately. But Sabriel the Distant, she's going to be a mythical champion here. 113 base speed. Now, for a mythical champion, that's actually slightly below what most of them come out as. Most of them come out with 115 right out of the gate, but crazy stats all across the board. 24k HP with a good load of defense and a little bit of attack as well. Stats and resistance and accuracy. Let's check out her kit here. She's a support champion. Her base form, single target attack, places sleep on the target, instantly activates the skill against the enemy with the highest turn meter whenever an enemy's turn meter is increased by a skill. Whoa! So whenever a skill, okay, there's a little bit of text there that's interesting. Whenever turn meter is increased by a skill. So not mastery, not relic or anything like that. Has to be a skill. She will attack with the sleep and put them to sleep. Occurs once per turn. Pretty cool, right? Not as crazy as like Solinar, but Solinar is a percentage chance. This is a 100% chance to happen, but it has to be a skill. The A2 here on a 4-turn books down to 3 turns. It's a double hit AoE. Each hit steals all buffs from all enemies, so you have 2 chances to steal everything. She has Spirit Affinity, so you do have affinity issues. Then applies then applies buff spread. Okay, so it's a steal. Steal their buff, spread the buff, taking all the buffs and placing them on all allies. Now, a double hit kind of gives you a little bit more consistency in terms of making sure that this happens. And then, yeah, you steal all their buffs and then you spread all the buffs. So, of course, you can start off Sabriel with tons of buffs already. And then, you can guarantee some value that way. Or you can, just steal all their stuff and just spread all their stuff. Seems pretty nuts if it starts landing. The A3 here, 4-turn cooldown when fully booked. Again, a double hit AoE. Each hit increases the cooldown of each of the enemy skills to the maximum. Wow. Also decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 30%, then grants an extra turn. Wow. So on a 3-turn cooldown, you get 2 chances at an AoE full lockout. Each hit increases the cooldown. Increases the cooldown of 1 of each enemy's skill. So only 1 skill. So she will potentially lock you out of 2 skills if this connects twice. And then it has a turn meter pushback as well. I mean, Warlord's Void Affinity, so he won't suffer as many weak hits. And he has a full lockout with a chance to full turn meter deplete. This one has a chance to decrease the turn meter on each hit by 30%. I mean, it could be potentially very crazy. It's a little bit more RNG, but it's also a little bit more consistent, because if you weak hit once, sometimes you just lose the full effect of the ability. This way you hit twice, so you would have to weak hit twice for this ability to do nothing. I'm not sure which one I prefer. But yeah, this one's only 1 skill maximum, and then the turn meter pushback is pretty nuts. It could be nuts. Both these abilities take accuracy. Unfortunately, no accuracy reduction. Let's check out our passive here. Is that it? Oh my. This champion receives no damage when attacked by enemies, including bosses and their minions, out of their active turn. So ally attack, counter attacks, and all that stuff. All allies except this champion deal 3% more damage to each enemy for each enemy skill that has its cooldown increased by this champion up to 25%. Okay, if there are multiple, so 25% boost in damage based on the lockouts, and then she cannot take damage when out of active turn. So things like Carnage, things like Predator. I mean, yeah, that's good. Solinar, stuff like that could be good. Could be good. And she's packing 33% speed in arena battles. Okay, all right. A shame. 113 base speed here. She needed to be the maximum. 115 would have been great. Let's transform and see what happens. She turns into an attack-based damage dealer. Oh my goodness. Absolutely unbelievable aesthetic here. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like a genie. Whoa, whoa. Anyway, she looks amazing. 1652 base attack with boosted crit damage here. Let's check out her kit. A1, triple hit, ignore block damage, and unkillable. These are the two big ones. That's great. Instantly activates this skill against an enemy whenever that enemy receives block damage or unkillable. Okay, so clearly, clearly this is a counter for some key champions in the meta, like Nice or Neve teams, for example. Odin, for example. There's a lot. There's a lot that this could work well against. I'm not saying that she's gonna work well against Nice or anything, but because Nice is magic affinity, but it's like that. Let's see what else. The A2, 3-turn cooldown when fully booked, double hit AoE before attacking swaps HP with a target enemy. Okay, cool. For this skill, increase the champion's damage and decrease all enemies' defense by a percentage equal to the percentage of HP swapped. So let's say you're near death and then you swap with the full health. So I guess you're swapping like 99% of their HP. So your attack increases by 99%. That's what I'm thinking. And decreases all enemies' defense by a percentage equal. So decrease enemies' defense by 99%. That's how I'm thinking about it right now. But I kind of like this ability. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like Empress, where Empress does a health swap and then attacks. But this is on one ability, which could be a good or bad thing. The A3 here on a 3-turn cooldown, another double hit AoE will ignore 25% of the target's defense unconditionally. Before attacking, decrease the value of any stone skin shield, magma shield buff by 75%. This effect cannot be resisted if target has any skill on cooldown. Okay. Places a protected shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's attack. Protected shield buff. 3 turns, and then you're going to decrease the value of all this stuff. Double hit with the ignore defense. I mean, yeah, it could definitely be massive. It could definitely be massive. This requires a little bit of setup though. But I mean, if the enemy uses an ability and then puts it on cooldown, then this ability doesn't require resistance. But pretty sure that a double hit with 25% ignore defense is going to slam 1653, unless their multiplier is just really bad. It's going to slam regardless. And then she gets a shield out of it, which is kind of nice. Let's check her passive here. This champion's attacks are always critical against enemies that have any skills on cooldown. Again, she doesn't necessarily need to put them on cooldown. They can just use a skill and then they'll be on cooldown. This champion's skills deal 3% more damage for each turn of cooldown remaining on all enemy skills. I mean, easily 15, 20, 25, 30%. If the enemy takes like a turn and starts using abilities, you could easily get a nice damage boost from this. And then what's this? Same aura, speed and arena by 33%. Now, what I'm seeing here is a champion that has pretty cool support form that's going to require a good amount of accuracy just to do all this stuff, of course. But you do have the ignore resistance, 20%. You can strip, buff your own team, lock out your enemies, put them to sleep. It all requires accuracy. So you need to build accuracy on her. And then she has an attack form that doesn't necessarily benefit from too much accuracy. Like this ability here, situationally it does benefit, but she doesn't really benefit too much. And then this one doesn't benefit at all. So you're gonna have a champion with mixed stats, right? If you build her as a damage dealer with high accuracy, then her damage dealing form will not deal that much damage naturally, right? It seems both her forms are very useful. What she's gonna suffer is she has no way to survive. She doesn't have a cheat death, so that's going to be the biggest thing, right? Like she'll die right out of the gate, even if you put her in like 9-piece Mercurial or whatever. She doesn't really have she doesn't have revive. Like her base form doesn't have any kind of sustain, healing, or anything like that. Um, and her damage form, she has a shield, but that's it. She doesn't really have any ways to survive. So she's a great support champion in that, you can bring like a Fabian into a team, but you need more than just Fabian. So if you think about her as like a Fabian plus a damage dealer in a secondary form, then she's going to be pretty good. But I don't think she's going to be in that same conversation as best team carries in the game, like Theodosa or Galathea or something like that. She's not going to be in that conversation, but she can be a very good support champion with the lockout, with the steals, the buff spreads, and all that stuff. And then, of course, she has versatility with her damage form here as well. Cool champ, but I just don't think it's going to be on that power level. I think she looks great. Even this avatar, I'm like in love with, to be honest. Up next, we have Mavera, the Web Diviner. We went over this quickly in the preview. She's going to be here. Where is she? Oh, that's a bit interesting. The fusion is not on the test server. So, okay, well, we don't have any kind of test preview for the Mavera at this point. Let's see. Up next, we have a couple new Argonites. Let's talk about those for a second here. We got Fimo the Shepherd. Fimo the Shepherd here from the Argonites. Fimo, here we go. Look at that. Cyclops. He's a Cyclops, guys. Sweet. Look at this. Whoa, what is this? He's got some dude in the background like a pet. Sorry, he got some dude in his backpack, like some little dog or something. That is sweet. I don't know. This is pretty cool aesthetic. Look at this hammer. Look at this hammer. Anyways, Fimo the Shepherd. Looks like a defense-based champion here. He's got an A1, single target hit, 100% chance when fully booked of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. I think that's kind of a lackluster at this point, but still reasonable. The A2, 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. Yeah, a bunch of books, 6 books already. Active effect. Places increased defense shield on all allies for 2 turns. Value of the shield is proportionate to his defense. Pretty standard stuff. These buffs are protected if there are any dead allies. Okay, if there are any dead allies. So increased defense and a shield. Passive effect. Instantly activates the skill whenever an ally is killed. Instantly activating the skill will not put it on cooldown. If there are multiples, only one will activate. The skill will not activate on duplicate copies, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if somebody dies on your team, you're going to get a protected team-wide increased defense and protected team-wide shield. Now, on a 3-turn cooldown, without the passive effect going off, it's pretty lackluster, to be honest. Increased defense and a shield. It's pretty lackluster on a 3-turn cooldown nowadays. With the passive effect, fine. That's a little bit of balancing. It balances out a little bit, but still, it doesn't make it OP. Like they could have made this like increased defense, shield, and strengthen like 3 buffs on a 3-turn cooldown, and it still wouldn't be OP. It still wouldn't be busted. It would be good. At this point, I would say this is a bit of an average ability, so not too hyped about that. Is A3 on a 3-turn cooldown here, 5 books in this ability, single target attack, places a stun, 100% chance, also has 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter. If the stun was successfully placed, then attacks all enemies except the initial target, so it's not a double hit. Has 100% chance of placing stun on all enemies for 1 turn, also has 100% chance of decreasing all enemies' turn meter by 25%. Okay, so it's a single target hit with a stun and a turn meter drop, and if the stun is successful, then it becomes an AoE and a turn meter drop. Somehow I am not excited about this ability at all, considering, like I said, Odin is the top gold standard, right? He's the gold standard. He has a strip, stun, decreased defense. I mean, you could even look at Arman's. Arman's gold standard, right? You got AoE stun and then turn meter steal, straight up. Here, it's a single target attack, and if it's successful, then it becomes an AoE attack. So, I mean, to me, this feels very lackluster, like almost epic levels. Passive. Increases this champion's defense by 3% up to 30%. and max HP up to 50% for each stun debuff successfully landed. I mean, this is going to take forever. Each stun debuff. How many stuns are you going to need to land to max this out? A lot. You need 10. 10 stuns. So that's going to be multiple waves. Yeah, this is going to be a long-term passive. Allies are immune to stun while under a shield placed by this champion's Good Shepherd. Defense in all battles. This guy, honestly, is kind of garbage. I'm not gonna lie, he looks amazing, but he's kind of garbage. He'll help early, mid game, but I mean, lots of champions can help early, mid game. Let's be real. This kit is just like epic levels. You could put this on an epic champion, and people would be like, yeah, "That's okay." Like this passive, he needs 10 stuns for this to happen. Am I reading this wrong, guys? Am I reading this wrong? You guys let me know in the comments below if I'm reading this wrong. But this requires 10 stuns for him to max out, and it's going to be a while, right? Anyways, I'm not feeling Fimo here, unfortunately. He looks awesome, pretty cool aesthetic here, but I'm definitely not feeling this guy out. Let's see what's next. We got Nawson the Bronze Bull. Nawson the Bronze Bull. Whoa, look at this guy. This guy means business. What does it say on his belly button? Yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. HP base. Champion here. Looks like he's a damage dealer. 63% in crit damage. 97 speed, a little bit below average. Let's check out his kit here. He's got an A1 attack. Destroy 10% of the max HP. Destroy 20% of the max HP instead if they're under provoke. Up to 50%. Destroy max HP. I mean, it's okay. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, 10% of the target's max HP is, not bad. And plus you can destroy quite a bit of it with his A1. Increases his champion's turn meter by 20%. Now that's significant. Increases his champion's turn meter by 40% instead if the target is under provoke. I mean, yeah, this A1 is way stronger than that Fimo guy. This Fimo guy is decreased the target's turn meter by 15%. And then you have Nawson here with a 20% turn meter boost, 40% conditional, and a destroy max HP 10% per hit. I mean, this guy's A1 is just way better than the other guys. Let's see. By the Horns, A2, 3-turn cooldown, 35% damage from books. That's actually pretty significant. Single target hit, ignore 50% of the target's defense, whole, and stone skin buffs if this champion's max HP is higher than that target's. It's not always going to be the case. Some support champions will be higher than your HP based nuker, so it's not always going to be the case. If the target is killed, instantly activates hard-earned confidence. If the target survives, heal all allies by an amount equal to the difference between the target's current HP and the max HP. So if you hit them for 50%, you're going to get a big fat heal. So the harder you hit, the more benefit you're going to get. You're going to kill them and activate this A3, or you're going to get a bigger heal. Let's check out the A3 here on a 4-turn cooldown. AoE attack, 100% chance when fully booked of placing provoke. Ignores 50% resistance against targets whose max HP is lower. That's really nice. That means you don't need crazy amounts of accuracy. Places a counterattack on this champion. It's a 4-turn ability, which kind of sucks, so that you can't really use him that well in like Hydra, for example, as a main provoker. Ideally, a 3-turn cooldown so you can cycle back for the provoke role. But the counterattack's nice. The counterattack synergizes with the A1, destroy max HP, and then you get turn meter boost as well. It's kind of nice. The ignore 50% resistance is also very nice as well. So you don't need to stack crazy accuracy on him. But you do need some accuracy. Where do you need accuracy? Actually, you don't need accuracy. You just need accuracy for this provoke. But then it's 50% ignore resistance, so you don't need that much accuracy. This passive here. Enemies under provoke deal 50% less damage. Allies deal 20% more damage against enemies under provoke. That's not bad. Not bad. Unfortunately, 4-turn cooldown, so it's a very situational damage boost, damage mitigation, because like I said, it's situational. And it's a 4-turn cooldown, so it's not going to be up all the time. But I'm interested in this ability. This ability looks very good. A hard-hitting, potentially a hard-hitting ability here with 50% ignore defense through Stone Skin. And if you kill somebody, you can land this provoke stuff, and then you place counterattack on yourself as well. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any, clear ways to survive. He doesn't place any shields, unkillable, or anything like that on himself. He just has high HP. But I think he's reasonable. He's reasonable champion. Doesn't look too bad. All right, hopping out. We are heading to the Lizardman. We get a brand new Lizardman this time around, and it's going to be Kosk. Kosk of Two Skins. Interesting. Look at this. He's wearing the head of a dragon or something. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, cool looking guy. 1542 base attack. He's an attack based damage dealer. Check out his kit here. Double hit A1. Each hit has a 15% chance, 40% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. All enemies, not just the target. If the second hit does not increase the duration of all enemy debuffs, instantly activates all poisons on the target instead. That's very unreliable. But okay, let's see what else his kit's all about here. Is A2, 3-turn cooldown. Single target double hit before attacking places increased accuracy. That's good. First hit, 100% chance of placing poison sensitivity and 2 poisons. That's really good. Second hit applies debuff spread, taking all poisons and the poison sensitivity from the target and placing them on all enemies. Yeah, that's very reasonable. Increase accuracy and then poison sensitivity, double poisons on a single target. So you can definitely use this against bosses. That could be interesting. And then against waves, it could be interesting too with the debuff spread. A3, 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, places decreased attack, increases the champion's turn meter by 20% for each decreased attack placed. This could be potentially huge turn meter boost. Instantly activate all poison debuffs on all enemies. So it's a poison detonator with a huge turn meter boost. So what's the play here? Let's check out the passive here. This champion is immune to poison, stun, decreased speed. Increase this champion's damage dealt by 5% up to 50. Ignore defense effects by 3 up to 30 for each active debuff. That's nice. Active debuff, and it's not just his debuff, it's anybody's debuff. Whenever this champion is attacked by an enemy under a debuff placed by this champion, counterattacks using the default skill. So he's got default skill, double hit, increased duration of all debuffs, or an activator. You got the placement and then the debuff spread. And then you have the activator with the huge turn meter boost. And then you have increased accuracy too. What is this guy? I guess it would have been interesting if he brought plus attack for himself. So he's a poisoner with an activator, turn meter boost, and then he can extend. I mean, you're going to extend and then activate, right? I don't know. It seems okay. Synergistic, definitely synergistic. And then he has ignore defense here with damage boost from his passive. But it doesn't really feel like he's a huge damage dealer unless this ability hits really hard for some reason. He doesn't bring plus attack, which is a shame. It would have been amazing if this ability had plus attack plus accuracy. Turn meter boost is nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not hugely feeling it. Not hugely feeling it. I'm not too sure. You have to hit pretty hard to get really excited about this guy. So I think we're going to be on the maybe side for now. Let's check out our next champion here. We have Baerd the Broad from the Sylvan Watchers. This guy, Baerd the Broad. All right, Baerd the Broad. Looks like a stag knight, some kind of knight here, or elk knight. I don't know. Anyways, looks pretty cool. Defense-based champion, a little bit low in the defense. But let's check out his kit here. He's got an A1, single target hit, places a continuous heal on this champion and the ally with the lowest HP, not this champion. Okay, it's reasonable, not great, but not terrible. 3-turn cooldown, single target, triple hit. First hit, 100% chance of stealing all buffs from the target. That's huge. All buffs, by the way. Second hit, transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target. Okay. Third hit, applies debuff spread, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. So first, you strip the guy, and then you give him all your debuffs, and then you spread all those debuffs. On a 3-turn cooldown, I think that's reasonable. I can't imagine him hitting hard, so this is going to be like a support level damage ability. And then his A3, 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, places provoke on all enemies for 1 turn, 100% chance of placing pain link on all enemies for 2 turns. The pain link debuff reflects 45% of the inflicted damage. Also places counterattack buff on this champion and the ally with the highest crit damage for 2 turns. On a 3-turn cooldown. I think this is very reasonable. And it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Pain Link is something that just doesn't show up very often. So just some info here on the Pain Link. Pain Link debuff causes the affected champion to receive a percentage of all damage received by the enemy who places this debuff. The enemy receives 100% of the damage inflicted. So the Pain Link that he has is only 45%. Only 45%. So it's not a full-on Pain Link debuff. But I think this ability is very reasonable. Counterattack, provoke, 3-turn provoke with an AoE. You can use them for Hydra even. And then his passive here heals all allies by 40% of any damage dealt to this champion. That's interesting, like a Vogoth-esque, type of passive. It's going to work pretty well, especially when he has provoke. So when he gets hit, he's going to heal up everybody. At the end of this champion's turn, places plus defense on this champion for 1 turn. Again, not too bad. This guy's ability is not bad. Not a bad kit. Got a little bit of healing support, got a little bit of control, a little bit of disruption, a little bit of healing. Yeah, I like it. I think it's fine. All right, and the last champion here is actually going to be the epic champion in the fusion. Because it's a hybrid fusion, we have to build up these epics and then fuse them into the fusion. It's going to be Stonebound Thisbe. All right, let's check it out here. We got the epic for the fusion, but we don't have the fusion Mavera on the test server. She's a support champion. An A1, decrease attack, 50% chance, steal 10% of the target's turn. I mean, you can use this for like clan boss. 50% chance, not super consistent though, so you need her with counterattack or ally attacks. Her A2, 3-turn cooldown, AoE attack, 100% chance of landing hex and block buffs. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Hex and block buffs. Now, Hex is just Hex is best, acquired for a team with the curse set nowadays. It's just way easier because there's not too many good champions that land Hex in their kit. So just putting the curse set on an AoE champion makes more sense. But block buffs is going to be solid, right? So you can use this in like Hydra, for example. It's always going to be good. Block buffs is just generally just very good in this game. And then her A3, 3-turn cooldown, decreases the duration of all ally debuffs by 1 turn. So it's a little bit of a cleanse. That's great. We see this being very useful in a lot of different areas, like Mikage's ability, Mad Hatter's ability. Definitely has good value. Heals all allies by 15% of their max HP. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 20% on a 3-turn cooldown. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's quite good. It's a soft, very, very soft cleanse. It's not a full team cleanse. Soft cleanse with a small heal and a turn meter boost, 20%. I think it's reasonable, especially for an epic. Passive. Allies deal 10% more damage to enemies under debuffs placed by this champion if there are multiple blah, 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 blah. So you get 10% more damage from decreased attack, hex, and block buffs. 10% more damage to enemies under debuffs placed by this champion. So any debuff, 1 debuff is all you need. Yo, she's pretty good. I think she's pretty good. Wow. Yeah, she's good. For an epic, great support. Great support. Turn meter boosting, healing, a bit of a cleanse. Hex for more damage, block buffs for a little bit of control, decreased attack with the turn meter steal as well, and a bit of damage for your team. I think she's good. She's solid. Definitely, yeah, good champion for an epic. I don't like the base stats though. The base stats are a bit struggling, to be honest. 18k, 1.1k. Even for an epic, it's a bit on the struggle side. But I like her. I think she's good. She's definitely going to be, a good prize if you can't go for the fusion for sure. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Yeah, pretty cool champions. I would say they're trying to put in some fillers, I think, just to flesh out the Argonites a little bit. They started off with a bang, some really good champions, but I think, especially Fimo, I think is very lackluster here. The Bronze Bull, he seems reasonable. Kosk also seems reasonable as a Lizardman poisoner. Baerd the Broad also seems very reasonable. And the Epic Thisbe also seems reasonable. None of these champions are particularly insane. Even this mythical champion, Sabriel the Distant, she's not insane. She's good, I think. Personally speaking, she's good. But I don't think she's insane. But anyways, bunch of fillers, I think, this time around. You guys let me know in the comments below. Aesthetics, knocking it out of the park. But in terms of quality, a little bit in the middle side. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Which champion is your favorite? Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you guys. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you guys in the next video.